Hello, I'm Marky Dragon, also known as Marcus Eikenberry in real life, and today I am barbecuing again. This time it's pizza! Again, I love to barbecue pizza. I barbecue pizza a lot. So, welcome to this entrepreneurial edition of the Marky Dragon Show. Let's check the pizzas real quick, see if they need to be turned. Oh, look at that. Okay. Now I gotta be really careful, I don't have any gloves on. I'm doing the slow cook method, and the slow cook method actually is where I smoke it at around 180 degrees, and so it takes about an hour. Okay, now look at this. I'm out here in my backyard. Oop, we don't want to tip over the camera. Out here in my backyard, got my my lake in the backyard, and it's just great out here. It's a nice winter day. No, it's not winter yet, is it? It's fall still, because I'm recording this in November. But just saying, you know, here in Florida, it's amazing weather. So I got a question from Alex, and Alex is one of the viewers, and he has a pretty interesting question. It's an entrepreneurial question. And he says he joined a real estate SaaS startup. I don't know what an SaaS startup is, or SaaS. It's capital S, little a, capital S. And he is the technical co-founder. It's his first company, and I work 24/7 for the fear of having to return to the desperation of corporate life. I understand that. We bootstrap by writing code in-house. This means I have little to no time to devote to my other gigs unless I reduce my involvement. The hours don't bother me. I love working, but my interests span in different industries like gaming and biotech. I have also been incubating ideas in those fields. I could hire someone to be more hands-off, but I'm not sure how to gauge if the time is right for this transition. Also, I find it difficult to let go of the product I've built from scratch. But right now, all my eggs are in one basket. What is your opinion on juggling multiple startups concurrently versus focusing on one? Should I be thinking about spreading my time around? What are some signs that the startup is stable enough that he could be investing time elsewhere? Okay, so this is a really easy answer. The answer is you focus on one. And the reason you focus on one is because think of a jack of all trades. You know, somebody who has, you know, a lot of information, a lot of areas, and has a lot of responsibilities in those different areas. They do an adequate job in all of those, but they're stellar at none. They don't have the time to be stellar because they have other responsibilities. And so you can't reach that higher level. Think of an athlete, like somebody who's, say, a race car driver. And this race car driver also owns a chain of restaurants, and also does something that's like in maybe a completely different field, like owns an accounting firm or something like that. Now, how hands-on can this person be in all of those? And can they be hands-on enough to do a stellar job? What happens to his racing career when he is putting time into the other businesses that he has? And, you know, so what happens to that? He lowers his game. And you need to be 1% better than the competition in order to really take advantage of the markets and everything. You know, your business needs to be 1% better. It cannot be 1% better if you're focusing in multiple places. Now, there is a point when you can take on some other interests, but I believe that point is actually when the first one is turning a profit, and not until that point. profit is very important. And you talk about hiring somebody else to to reduce the workload or whatever. Well, you don't hire somebody else until the company is making enough to pay for that person. And there is other methodologies with that, that maybe you have a lot of startup funds and everything, and you need to work it from a higher position. So as a technical director or co-founder or whatnot, you are going to hire people and have people working under you. It's not going to be a very big company if it's just a couple of people, but you don't necessarily hit that point right at first. I can tell you that like my game codes sales and my virtual currency sales that I did, which, by the way, those of you who are interested in Play Money, I hear a rumor that it is still in development and it's going to be released next year. So anyway, keep that in mind. I'll let y'all know whenever that is. And Play Money, by the way, is playmoneyfilm.com. It's a documentary about RMT and about my involvement in the creation of RMT and everything. So anyway, back to the subject. So, golly, I got myself off track now. The fact is that if you split up your focus in too many directions, you can't do it. Now, when I started out in doing RMT and the code sales, I was a one-man show. When it got to be too much work for me, I started hiring more people, but I kept my focus squarely on that stuff. Later on, when the company was profitable, I did start to look at other things, and I looked at myself as more as a person who develops new things, new products, new gigs, new services. And I focused a lot of time on that. And this time that I focused on that, some of them were stuff that was going to integrate within the current business. And so it was like being an intrapreneur, not an entrepreneur. Entrepreneur, is like creating new stuff outside. Intrapreneur is creating new stuff within. And so, that took time away from the company and everything. And here's a lesson that I learned, is that when my company, when I quit focusing so much time on the company and I started focusing time on other projects, I lost touch with some of the things that were very, very important in the company. And when I lost touch with those things happened that were very undesirable, that had huge negative impacts on the company. Some of which could have forced it out of business. And so I had to then reinsert myself and get involved again to fix those issues, or to mitigate those issues. And it didn't keep going on its own. You still have to have your thumb in it enough that the numbers, that you can check for things like losses that are dumb. What if your code allowed people to slip through a hole that people were getting whatever your service was at 50% of the price or 10% of the price, and they kept slipping through, and you're like going, this is great, we got all these new customers, I don't understand why we can't afford to do everything. Well, it's because, there was some exploit or whatever, and people were taking advantage of that. And you have to watch for those things, which means being really in tune with the company. The other programmers that you hire and everything for the company, they don't give a crap about whether or not money is being lost. They give a crap about their paycheck. And that is that's not true with 100% of everybody that works for you, but it will be true with at least 95%. They may love their job, they may love the company, but they don't look at it as an owner. They look at it as an employee who collects a paycheck and that you owe them something. And And whatever it is that you owe them the paycheck, you owe them vacation pay, and you owe them respect, you owe them, there's all kinds of things that standard employees just expect, that they're not watching your back and everything. And so, there is something to be said for having multiple irons in the fire, so that if something really heats up, you run with it. And I say that if this real estate thing is got promise and it's moving forward well, and it's going to be profitable and everything, spend 100% of your time on that. Just leave the other projects for now. Make your success here, and then when it is up and running and it's making profit and everything, then you can start to spend some time on your other projects, but you cannot release from your oversight duties. You need to watch all the time for things like embezzlement, or for fraud from customers, or market changes. I mean, what happens when the market changes? You got to study your competition all the time, and you got to know what they're doing. If you don't know what your competition is doing, then you're in a vulnerable spot. You also have got to watch out for other things going on, like corporate espionage and everything. All of these things, by the way, have happened to me. I've had customers steal from me, I've had employees steal from me, I've had corporate espionage where other companies stole from me, stole technology and stuff. And, all of them sucked. All of them were harmful. So these are all things that you got to keep in tune with. And so, as it stands right now, I got 2 companies going on in a fashion. We've got our game code sales going on, which is going well. It's not super stellar yet, and it's not failing either. And then I've got my videos that I do. Now, my videos promote a lot of time sales within the company. In fact, if you want to get a free entry for a Megathron ship this month in a drawing, click the link below. And so, these videos send a lot of people to the site and everything. And so it is kind of a synergy. So make sure that if you are doing something else, that at least it should be synergistic, to where one can really benefit from the other, and anything else you do should benefit the primary one. Most definitely. So I hope that answers your question. And those are just my beliefs. There are multiple right ways to do what you're asking about. And so my way is not the only way, but it's my opinion of how I would do it for myself. So thanks for the great question. I'm Marky Dragon. Take care.
You like that, don't you? You like that, don't you? See, my eyebrows are even black. Have my aunt put it on. Makeup. Yeah, it's not really dyed, the eyebrows aren't. Yeah, like these. I was listening to dubstep before a lot of you were wearing diapers, alright? You like that, don't you?